Hello, how are you? I'm Matthew, host of Truth from the Booth on Folked Up Radio. Thanks for allowing me and my guest to share space with you today. This will be a heavy but extremely important 46-minute, uninterrupted, unfiltered, revealing conversation with Robin Tupy. For a multitude of circumstances, they find themselves unhoused here in the Halifax Regional Municipality at the beginning of their third winter outside and at the end of their sanity. You are aware there are people in any given city whose lives have been upended, sleeping outside for months, facing violence, extreme weather, hunger, isolation, and the constant question of what comes next. Throughout this conversation with Robin, we'll discuss the tough personal questions. How long have you been on the streets? Where do you stay at night? What keeps you safe or unsafe? Who's helping you? And what's missing? But first, I want to remind anyone listening who's struggling that you don't have to face any of this alone. If you or someone you know is in crisis, please reach out now. Call or text 988, Canada's Suicide Crisis Helpline, available 24/7. And here in Halifax, the Mental Health Mobile Crisis Team is also on call day or night at 902-429-8167. 902-429-8167. They can offer immediate support and, if needed, come to you. So today, we'll listen, learn, and try to understand, not to judge, but to connect. And remember, if you're hearing this from a place of pain or worry, please use those numbers. Let's begin. Robin Tupy is my guest. Okay, so we are rolling, and I think one of the things I like to tell my audience is there's not a lot of, I like to show people like the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a look behind the scenes of another Nova Scotian who I have personally known for just over 2 years now. And Robin is getting ready to attempt a third winter outside here in Halifax. And we're just kind of hanging out here at historic properties on the waterfront here. And it's about -9. It feels like -9. Could be cooler depending on if you're further away from the water. I know there's rain, snow in the forecast this evening. In many of my on-camera shows in the moment, I've talked about the weather, and I don't think I've paid more attention to the weather than I have since I started covering the unhoused. But before we get into any lengthy conversation with Robin Tupy, this is Robin's first ever time on the radio, yes?
Yeah.
Now you've been on my live streaming show, and I think you've even done some local interviews with the television stations here. You've jumped in front of the camera before.
I have once or twice, but not too often. And there's times where I would love to be able to do so again because there's a lot of things that need to be said.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because every once in a while I'll get a text message from some of the reporters that work locally that covered Grand Parade Square, and they're always looking. I always direct them to people that are out there.
Yeah.
And you and Andrew are normally my go-to people, but getting connected
It is a different situation.
and that's something that we'll discuss. So as I was sitting in here waiting for Robin to show up, and again, not gonna be a lot of editing, just a casual conversation, and we're gonna talk about Robin's belongings, but I'm going to give Robin an opportunity during this show to really paint a picture of what's happening in real time for people who are living in the streets of Halifax, Nova Scotia. And as I was sitting here waiting for Robin to show up for this 1:00 appointment, Robin comes around the corner dragging 2 large garbage bags. One is a see-through white garbage bag, and the second is a black heavy-duty garbage bag. And those are Robin's belongings.
In that clear garbage bag, I've got my blankets, and in that black one, I've got just my personal effects.
So when you say blankets and personal effects, I know with my experience and seeing people like yourself uh, in tents, out of tents, moving here and there, like what are do you have any like original keepsake? Like what type
No,
of memorabilia do you have in there when you say personal belongings?
I don't really have anything. I just mean like like just your hygiene things. I have like socks and clothes and stuff. Like just
When was the last time you lost all of your possessions and under what circumstances?
I would have to say when I was at the Grand Parade Square because I just ended up abandoning everything because I had somebody threaten to light my tent on fire.
Hmm.
And it turns out that they ended up doing that. I'm glad that I wasn't in there when that happened.
Yeah, that was one of the most dangerous properties
Yeah.
for so many reasons, and quite honestly, I covered a lot of that.
Like people don't like outspoken people.
Mm.
And here I am outspoken. If you're gonna keep me up days on end, then I'm gonna end up eventually saying something. And so that just makes it worse for me. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so how being outspoken on the street, what type of threat does that pose to you? Does that must come with some type of backlash?
Well, yeah, of course. Like people don't like that. People would rather be able to do whatever the heck it is that they're doing.
Mm.
And if it's impeding you somehow, then so flipping what? It is basically how they look at it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like the thing is though, is that like when I need to get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, like I'm not getting any sleep. So therefore my days are pretty much getting screwed up because I'm being awake at 3:30, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm pushing myself to stay awake, but then I'm getting tired an hour later, and then I have to go back to sleep, and then I'm missing my time
Mm-hmm.
that I'm supposed to be awake because I'm dead dog tired from no sleeping. You know what I mean? Like they just constantly want to pose threats. They there's a lot of them out there. Not all of us are like this, but there's a lot of them out there that have a jailhouse mentality. That like
Explain that.
they're so quick to want to call like you a rat because you're wanting to call the police for them like disturbing you somehow or posing threats on you or even coming after you. They're so quick to want to threaten you even if you're not talking to them. Um,
When was the last time you were threatened?
I get threatened every day,
Every day.
sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, just because, like I said, people don't like outspoken people. I've even asked somebody, like I remember one time during this whole outfit, I even asked somebody to please get away from my table. That's all I said to him when he was hovering over my table looking for a plug-in outlet to try to plug in his phone. And I ended up getting punched in the face not once but twice by him.
Mm.
And the cops wouldn't even do a damn thing.
You've been documenting the harassment that you have been facing out there. Yeah, the streets are not pleasant.
Like I would be the first to tell you that I'm the most antisocial person on the face of the planet.
Mm.
I'm an introvert. I'd sooner sit with myself than to be surrounded by 100 people. Just so that way I can be able to get in my own head, to be able to figure out my life and stuff. But I'm not able to do that because nobody seems to want to be able to leave me alone.
Let's forget those that won't leave you alone and talk a little bit about those individuals who should be helping you out. So, where are you with? I mean, you dragged your belongings here today in a couple of garbage bags.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like you're in a position where someone has helped you. So, who recently, or where are you with?
Well, see, the thing is I'm going in and out of shelters because of my anger problems and stuff like that. Yes, I have anger issues, but then again, after being out on these streets for 2.5, 3 years, who wouldn't have them?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
But anyways, due to my anger issues, like I keep getting mad about the situation, but I take it out on the person that's causing the situation. Like, I don't know if you know what I mean, but like if like these places, I find they tend to treat you a lot like you're a child. Okay, like these shelter systems and everything else. It's not like it's not degrading, demoralizing, and dehumanizing enough that you're laying out on the street in the first bringing place because you got no place to go. But then you got to go into these places and have them treat you worse like a child because you're trying to stand up for yourself against other clients, residents, whatever you want to call them, because they're wanting to start things with you or because of whatever the case. Like I've been told to go on a timeout. Excuse me. I've been told to go on a timeout like I'm a 5-year-old kid that just hit my 3-year-old brother. Okay? Like that's what I mean by being treated like I'm a kid or being reprimanded for doing something when I know I didn't do anything wrong. Like I'm a child that had a, you know, like it's just ridiculous. And I'm sick and tired of things not being as good for the goose as they should be for the gander.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where's your mental health right now?
I'm right now at a minus 15. Like I absolutely seriously thought last night about my first recorded murder. Okay, well, yeah, my first recorded, but the first time I was convicted, I didn't actually do anything because this would not shut the up. Some people, oh, excuse my language, but no, like seriously though, like I'm just so sick and tired of running into that. So I'm at a minus 15. I know that I had nothing else to lose. This is what was running through my mind, okay? And this is why I say that I'm not fit for public anymore because of having thoughts like this. I know this about myself, but people don't want to hear me knowing this about myself. They want me to snap first before they're willing to do anything to help me, right? Never mind me trying to call out for help first. But anyways, I'm looking at my current situation. I'm literally laying on the bank floor, right? This stupid woman will not shut her cake hole all God-given night after me being awake for 3 or 4 nights in a row with maybe only 2 hours of sleep in a week. Okay, I'm begging her to shut up so I can try to get a little bit of shut up, right? Just she really was a crackhead. I'm not meaning to belittle her or whatever, but she just like seriously was a crackhead. I was thinking seriously, well, I don't mind 25 to 30 years with a roof over my friggin' head. I'll do it. Just to shut her the flip up, why not? And get myself up off these streets. But people shouldn't have to be thinking like that. Like it shouldn't have to come to be that people are thinking like that.
Well, most people don't think like I can guarantee you most people that are inside are not thinking because they're not in that scenario.
Right, exactly. Like there are people out there that unfortunately feel like that they have to break a store window just to be able to get inside for the winter time. You know what I mean? Because they can't get housed any other way. So they need to break the law to be able to be put in jail.
Like that's like I used to hear about that when I was younger. I used to think it was a myth. But do you personally know people who have, you know, committed some petty crime just to get?
I've done it myself.
You've done it yourself, okay?
When I was at the parade at the Grand Parade Square.
Okay.
Like that's where I disappeared to for those 2 weeks or whatever when I wasn't there.
Yeah. Okay. So just something to. Well, we know the judicial system here is not the best, so it's kind of like a revolving door. So
pretty much.
Yeah.
And same thing with the shelter systems, a revolving door. Because the thing is that like, you know, like you get the same people recycled. Like people like me. With okay, I got okay. When I say my mental health issues, I'm gonna let it out to the world right now. I've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I've been diagnosed with multiple personality disorder. I've been diagnosed with schizophrenia as well as anxiety. Okay, and depression. Well, that goes with the bipolar disorder. But anyways, along with some other stuff that I haven't mentioned, like Asperger's and Lord knows what else. There's a whole laundry list of things. And for me to be able to tell you that I'm not self-aware, that I know that I'm not safe to be around friggin' public, that's saying something. And me not medicated. Anyways, but nobody seems to want to give a flying fudge. You know what I mean? But the thing is that, like, for people like me with my mental health issues or with the mental health issues similar to mine, it is a revolving door for them because they want to be getting help, but they can't necessarily coexist in the environment that they're forced into to be able to obtain that help. So what else is there for a person like me to be able to do? Because I might be able to last in the shelter systems for maybe a day or two, no more than that, and then I might back out on the dang street again.
Yeah.
So what kind of an answer is that for me? You know?
Well, that's not a right answer for anyone.
No, exactly.
That's why I'm always pushing towards, like just recently, well, not just recently, but we need to get away from the phrasing of temporary housing, like a temporary shelter,
we don't need band-aids. We need
people
solutions.
want permanent. People want permanent, dignified housing. And the time that I've known you, you haven't been a part of any of that.
No.
You have not been a part of any type of dignified living situation.
No, and furthermore, what sucks though is that they're always seeming to want to help those like whoever these organizations are to house us. In my experiences, in my opinions, always seem to want to help those more so that have heavy drug addictions or alcohol problems than they are with those of us that just might smoke the odd joint once in a while. You know what I mean? And that actually want to get up off the streets to be able to do something with their lives besides laying around rotting on the streets, wondering when the heck they're supposed to be able to get help.
Well, I think we are prioritizing individuals on the urgency of getting them inside, which it's wrong.
That is supposed to be the case, but I don't think that's always the case. Because see, the thing is that like who is to claim whose case is more urgent than somebody else's? Do you understand what I mean?
Well, because the person, they're the most important.
As right? Far as they're concerned, exactly.
Yes.
I've been on the streets for almost 3 years, like you know. But meanwhile, does that mean to say that somebody that's been on the streets for 5 friggin' months is more of a priority because he's heavily addicted to crack, or because they might have kids with them? I understand that the kids do take priority, but at the same time too, like I gotta get further put back on the back burner because I want to help these people at first when they haven't been on the streets nearly long enough, or as long as I have.
Yeah.
And it's aggravating.
The majority of people listening to this radio program are probably inside, have refrigeration, running water, power, stove. What is? Give me a day in the life of Robin, and just as far as, and keeping in mind what you're lugging around.
Yeah.
Just what's the process for getting something to eat here in the city, and how healthy are you when it comes to eating?
Well, for me, it's not the easiest because, like you said, I do have those 2 giant garbage bags and I'm lugging with me everywhere. And so I'm just trying to go day to day, pretty much panhandling to get a couple of bucks for food, or to try and hope that to rely on the people to be able to help me out with something. But no, it hasn't been healthy for me to be eating in the past almost 3 years that I've been out here.
Because it's got to be mostly fast food. Like you're not going into a grocery store and
No, I'm not able to be able to go into a grocery store and pull off the shelves whatever it is that I want to be able to eat myself and be able to cook it up however I want to cook it.
Because you almost have to get something to eat in the immediate.
Right.
You're not saving it for later.
No, I can't, because there's no way. Like, I mean, I don't have any place to store it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what about just the simple act of, like, going to the washroom or having a shower? Like, what facilities are you using?
I am currently quickly running out of whatever facilities I'm using, just basically due to pretty much what we were discussing here a bit ago about me being constantly kicked out of places and stuff like that because of.
So you saying that, and I want to let people know, just let you know where we are again, which is the Halifax properties on the waterfront here down by the casino. we come here, and we've been coming here for a while doing live
It's the
streaming.
historical properties. You said Halifax, but yeah.
Historical properties. We come here because this is literally one of the few places that you can come and not be bothered.
Exactly. Because nobody ever comes here to.
Do you think that you're on some type, like if you were to walk into Scotia Square right now, how long do you think it would be before security approached you, or would they bother you, or is that a safe place over there for you?
No, it's not, because that's one of the places that unfortunately I am now permabanned from.
Permabanned. So what type of action? Like if you just walked in there and went to the Timmy's to get a coffee, what type of?
I like they would flock on me like flies on.
Now, would they take it one step further and say you're trespassing and the police get involved, or would they just say, okay,
well,
if I can't be here,
well, they would ask me to leave, and if I didn't leave, then they would probably take more drastic measures, but I wouldn't not leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I'm being asked. But
so,
that's just the thing, like.
So not eating the best.
No.
Must be okay.
Pretty much.
Not eating well. Definitely your sleep pattern is just non-existent. Like.
And my moods are fluctuating way worse than a normal bipolar person's would.
And you don't have to answer this. Like I always tell my guests, give me as much or as little as you want. Meds. Like are you able to get the meds that you need in a timely fashion? Okay, well that's an issue, obviously.
I've been after, well, see, because the thing is that my doctor of over 15 years hasn't been able to prescribe me anything that works. So therefore, because she's not qualified to. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. And I've been on the list to see a psychiatrist, but Lord knows how long that's going to take. Mm. Because I've been on that list for 6 years. As far as what my doctors told me.
So in that 6-year period, what has been held up? Your proper meds?
Well, no, that's why I switched to marijuana.
Oh, okay.
That's why I started smoking weed, was because
because you don't have someone qualified to say Robin needs to be on these meds.
Right.
Wow. And you've been waiting 6 years for that to happen?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously a person changes over, like your mental health, even over the last 2.5 years has been on a decline. So, wow, that's.
Yeah, well, because the system here for housing, for medical, it just sucks.
So who would you speak to get that ball rolling again? I mean, 6 years seems like an awful long time. Like, contact the MLA or the Minister of Health or someone.
I don't know. Like, it's just a waiting list. We have so few psychiatrists, and so much demand. Mm-hmm. Just like with the housing situation, we have so few outreach, so few organizations able to help, but so much demand.
Well, and I think I had mentioned that in my talking points here, and I'm glad that you brought it up. That I know a few of the navigators out there, mm-hmm. but I am under the opinion, and I'm just seeing it with my own eyes. I'm concerned because I spent 21 years in BC. I know what an out of control housing crisis looks like, and I think we're getting to a point here because of circumstances on the front end, like rent going up, cost of living going up, energy's going up. People don't have enough money to pay the rent. They're out on the street. So I believe, because I've seen it with my own eyes, the number of people on the street is now on pace. Well, it's outnumbered the navigators that are out there.
Right.
The navigators, would it be impossible for them to have like 15, 20 people under their wing? I don't know how it works. But I can tell you that there's more people
in need of them
now than there were. I've only been here 4 years, mm-hmm. and the number of unhoused has doubled in the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. So you can make the encampments disappear, but people. I mean, I spoke with a gentleman last Sunday, just a few days before they went in with the machines, mm-hmm. And he was there with his partner, and he's like, I'm not going to a shelter.
Mm,
I'm going to take my gear and whatever, and I'm going to go set up somewhere else.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, we keep hearing all these no's, but we get no yeses. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, like what you were saying before, we just can't seem to find any stability.
No, and the more I talk to, you or Andrew or any of the number of people that I've, gotten to know over the years, there's not a lot of enthusiasm for the government to get done
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Like, you can make an announcement, hey, we just, designated a plot of land where we're going to build some affordable housing that's going to, shovels in the ground in 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, what about the middle of December of 2025?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I honestly, I woke up this morning, I look out at Barrington Street, and the asphalt is white. Like, that just tells me how cold it is.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am sitting across the table from Robin Tupy, who experiences that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, last night had the opportunity to get inside of, like, the inside of a bank where
Mhm.
people, like, the teller area. But a few days ago, walking in on Barrington, or no, not Barrington, it was Gottingen. Somewhere in the vicinity of the library across the street, I had one of those packages. I was handing out packages, and I gave a package to an elderly man who was setting up his space. It was an old storefront,
I think I know exactly who you're talking about. His name's Billy.
quite tall,
Yeah.
elderly.
He
Like,
was up at the Victoria Park when I was up there, and this guy too, like, he's suffers from dementia. You know what I mean?
well,
And
even
he
if,
actually threw something at the bus this morning.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but
Well, I just had a brief interaction with him. He was kind of getting his area set up.
mhm.
I mentioned that there was a Timmy's card in there, and he went on a Timmy's rant for a few moments. But regardless of his, the one thing that struck me, and one thing that I see a lot when I walk through the city, there is a growing number of elderly
Mhm.
just panhandling, and there's people panhandling. You come out of any given business, people are literally risking their lives at, like, dangerous intersections, like Gottingen and North, down at the Windsor Exchange. Like, people are, like, right out in traffic looking for change, and it's just,
Oh yeah, I'm the same way. I have to be in order to be able to survive, because I myself am not getting any more than $500 a month.
okay. I was going to ask you, how
Like,
much do you get
like
a month?
just under. Like, I get $468 every month.
$468 every month. So how does that? How quickly does that disappear?
It disappears quickly when you gotta go buying yourself $20 meals just to keep yourself afloat.
$20 meals.
Well, I mean, like, when you gotta go to fast food places and stuff like that to eat. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Again, going back to not being able to put anything in a refrigeration,
Right.
or
Cooking it properly for your own
because you don't have the
proper.
you're just not in decent housing.
No.
I want to talk a little bit about again, this is to educate the audience here. I've said many times that encampments, even though there's only 2 of them left,
Mm-hmm.
in the time that I've been documenting these encampments, there have been murders, thefts, assaults, fires, just lawlessness.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not, trying to be over dramatic. That's the reality. So I know you've spent some time at various encampments. Can you just share a couple stories just to really hit home that being outside is extremely dangerous?
Well, I've witnessed overdoses. I've witnessed stabbings. I've witnessed fires. I've actually been involved in a fire. Not me personally, but my staff. Luckily, I wasn't there. But yeah, like because in the 3 years that I've been out here, I've been excuse me, at Victoria at Victoria Park was when where I first was. and then stayed there until they told us to relocate. And no, sorry, I stayed there before they told us to relocate, and then I ended up at the Grand Parade Square. That's when I met up with you, and then after the Parade Square, I ended up going to University Avenue, and then from there I ended up going. No, sorry, I went to the old library for a spell first, and then went over to University Avenue, and then went back to university after leaving there for a bit and started bouncing around because people wouldn't.
You've already done a lot of bouncing around. What you've just described, most people wouldn't move that many times in their life.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like the thing is that like I feel like a dang basketball. You know what I mean? But whether it was me having to move around because for my own safety, whether it was me having to move because the city was enforcing it, or whatever the case.
You've been at an encampment when an eviction notice has been like, you wake up in the morning, there's an eviction notice on your tent. What does that feel like? What does it feel like when you are being evicted out of a tent?
It just boggles me, because like I mean the thing is that like I just feel like, okay, well, here we go again. Whatever stuff I accumulated, I have to either learn to downsize and only take what I feel is most important, or just leave everything and just
say goodbye to it.
Yeah. Say the heck with it, and unfortunately, and just have to start over. And it's sad because like I can't hang on to nothing, despite the fact that I'm not for the lack of trying either.
When it comes to like you're outside, like people who are unhoused, you're in the elements 24/7. I don't care if you're in a $5,000 tent, you're still outside.
Yeah.
Is there one season that's more difficult to go through than any other season, or just being outside, does it just suck in general? Or what's worse, the coldness of the winter or the heat
I think
it's
a question that I think you can answer yourself.
Yeah.
The winter time is probably the most worst.
Yeah. And I mean, I've said many times that the elements will beat you down. And I guess
like I can survive like a lot easier spring, summer, and fall before I can survive that well in the winter time.
Those tiny homes, I've seen the tiny homes. Those would be just perfect. Much better than the pallet shelter model. But that being said, that's still temporary.
Which tiny homes are we talking about?
Well, there's the tiny homes in Sackville.
That's way out there, though, for me.
Yes, and that's the thing, right? Like
I used to live in before I became homeless. Before my place got hit by a wrecking ball, this is the reason why I became homeless.
Okay, let's let's talk about that.
I was living at the Wedgwood Inn on the corner of the Kearney Lake Road, Bedford Highway area in Halifax, and I was living there. It was supposed to be a 2-year temporary stay, according to an organization called Mosh Housing First. But I ended up staying there for 6. And my landlord decides that he's not wanting to do the upkeep on the building anymore. We're getting ridden with bed bugs, cockroaches, it doesn't matter. Rats, whatever. And so he decides, well, instead of putting any more money into this place, we're going to give everybody the friggin' boot and decide to put a wrecking ball through their homes.
How much notice did you have?
We had our 3 months notice, but it still didn't seem to matter. I mean, this is around the COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
This is around the time where the outbreak, the pandemic was like almost at, like just past its peak, but still people were like, it was still in that same time period. But the thing is that so
you got that going on in your head, and now you're like, oh, I got to find someplace to live. You're being evicted.
Well, yeah, and like nobody's gonna be renting to people at that point, and now rent is so super friggin' official that like it's so sky high that you know like now not only am I going to try to struggle to find a place to live, I'm going to try to struggle to find subsidy. You know what I mean, and all this other shit that goes along with it to try to make sure that I have my. This is what I'm saying. Like I wish I could hold down a job. This is why I keep saying I'm homeless and disabled because I am disabled. I already told you about all my mental health issues. I told you about my physical my physical ailments like my knee and stuff like that failing on me. My arms are going to getting shot now because of me having to lug this crap around all over the place. Like I'm just like I'm just at a loss for anything. But then like but because of it, I'm still not able to. I'm still not able to acquire what it is that I know that I deserve, which is a good stable home, and food in my belly. You know what I mean? Like I'm still a human. I'm still a human being. I might be having a little more problems than you or 80% of this audience, but I still don't deserve anything less than they do.
I agree. And I'm a firm believer that in order to get on that right footing, you need to be, you got to be inside. You have to, like, I can't stress how important it is for people to eat healthy, regular meals. Like, if you're not intaking the right food and the right nutrients, then your brain doesn't work properly.
I'm lucky to be able to snack sometimes most days. You know.
Yeah, and again, just going back to
like I'm dragging
the fast food intake.
Yeah, well that too, but I'm dragging this stuff around so much. I just get so tired that I just would like. There are places out here that do have designated times where they serve meals and stuff like that, but I'm not always able to get around to those places at those times. And then when I can't get around to them, and you end up being screwed, so I might end up going all friggin' day and not eat. Just being so tired from lugging this crap and doing whatever else that I'm just now wanting to go find a place to crash. By the time the day comes around, you know what I mean? Instead of trying to go find food.
Well, this is, the middle of December. The sun is setting before 5 o'clock. When we're done this conversation here, what do you do? And this is what is so hard about this for me, is I will pack up my gear, I'll get on a bus and I'll go home, and I'll watch some TV tonight. And I'll do my editing, knowing that you don't have that. So when this conversation is done, where are you going to be dragging your belongings?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I just go where the wind takes me.
There's something in here, like, I'm curious. Some people might say that the world is a little bit unhinged right now. How familiar are you with what's going on outside of Halifax, and do you care, or are you just kind of worried about Robin Tupy?
I'm just kind of worried about myself right now. Like if it like, yes, what's going on around the world might be affecting me indifferently. If you really want to know, and world, I'm going to say something, but I want you to listen to me carefully, because I'm not trying to sound hateful or racist or bigot or anything like that. But if our government would be willing to take care of their own as much as they're willing to take care of the foreigners that they're bringing in here, then we would be okay. But they seem to keep wanting to treat them like kings and queens, and then we have to get put on the back burner. We're the ones that end up getting treated like peasants. And it's just maddening. Like I don't hate the people that are coming in here. I just hate the government for what they're doing because of them.
I think we have enough vacant spaces to get people off the streets now. Like
But those vacant spaces, they only seem to keep wanting to just fill them with Band-Aid solutions.
Well, yeah, and again, I think putting people in temporary, anything that's temporary is a Band-Aid solution.
Exactly.
Yeah. People need to be inside.
And
I would love nothing more than for you to leave here with the wagon and, go into a place where you got four walls, lock the door behind you.
yeah, that would be nice. Well, if I had that, then I wouldn't be needing to lug this crap
You
around
wouldn't be
anymore.
lugging that around. This is there anything like we've been talking for a while, and I really hope that the audience is taking a lot away from this, because you can watch the documentaries and walk through the streets, but if you're not actually engaging with people, you'll never know. You'll never know the true person.
That's true.
And there have been, and I'll be honest, there have been times, even within the last year, where I never thought that you and I would be sitting down having a conversation again, because there were, everything that happened at GPS was just so chaotic.
Yeah.
And we always didn't see eye to eye, and there were times when I would walk through the city and I might see you and I might just go the other way, because
it wasn't you.
No, I know, but it was just a whole host of circumstances that what happened there it was good and it was bad and it was.
Well, you got your partner to thank for that one.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah. Like I was just, I was a foot soldier. It was the wildest learning experience.
You were out there genuinely, and I saw that after a while.
I've continued to cover the story. I mean, that's why I continue to do my live videos, and this radio program was created to continue the conversation after GPS. So I haven't gone anywhere, and I think I have a pretty good idea. I think I'm just as knowledgeable as any navigator.
Yeah.
Or the city navigators. Like I'm just as knowledgeable as they are.
Yeah.
And anyone who has walked through the streets of Halifax or listens to the news and listens to reports, the number of designated encampments, there's only 2 left. But that doesn't mean the dozens and dozens and dozens of people who have occupied those are inside somewhere.
Right.
Like I would love to see.
And there's
like, where did everyone go?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, is it any of my business? But I'd like to see some stats.
Yeah,
instead
I know
of them just saying, "Oh yeah, they all went here, they all went there." Okay,
yeah.
Really? Anyway, do you have anything in closing? Like, what's your, here we are, Christmas season.
And all I want for Christmas is a roof over my head, but that seems to be asking a little bit much right now. But I'm not going to cry over spilled eggnog.
What would you? Okay, so.
But yeah,
how would you like to spend the rest of 2025, and what are you hoping for in 2026?
Well, I'm hoping to be able to get housed, like properly housed with my own bathroom, my own kitchen, like my own spot. Is what I'm mostly hoping for. And as far as the rest of 2025 goes, well, I'm not sure exactly what I'm hoping to get out of it. I mean, we only got like 3 more weeks left of this year, or 2 more weeks, whatever it is. All I can do is take things a day at a time. Like I can't plan for a future that I don't know what's going to be happening. I might end up going to sleep somewhere, and then find out somebody wants to put a knife to my throat. I don't know.
Are you? You don't have a tent?
I don't have anything right now.
No.
I'm bouncing from bank vestibule to apartment lobbies to wherever I can, just to be able to get 5 minutes of sleep before somebody decides that they're going to give me the boot.
I was talking about this just a few moments ago. This time of year, the sun is setting. Like it'll be dark here at like 5 o'clock. For most people, that's not a big deal because they have electricity.
Exactly.
It's a much different story being outside when it's so dark as compared to 10 o'clock in the summertime. When it is that your cue when it gets dark? Is that your cue to like go find someplace warm, or like how long do you stay out like literally outside in the winter time?
I'm almost out there 24/7. Almost out there 24/7 because, like I said, due to me having complications and stuff like that with people, because of my lack of sleep, because of my living situation and everything else, I am not able to get into most places anymore. You know, like, and it's just not fair. Like, it's not any fault of my own. I'm not saying that it's not my fault either, but I'm just saying, like, it's because of how I'm forced to have to present myself, I guess, because I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm like just with overall everything. You know what I mean? Like with how I'm being treated, with how people are looking at me, with how people are judging me, with like I'm just tired of seeing it all.
You look good today, though.
Thank you.
Look good. Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I'm just saying, like that's why I just wish the heck I just had like 4 walls and I could just shut. No offense for all, but shut you out for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just be able to get in my own head.
Yeah.
Without having to, like, because I said, I'm extremely like I'm an extremely anxious person, and I bet you can hear that with my stuttering and stuff. Like, I don't like talking about myself because it's just like everything about me is just so dang negative that like it's just nothing that I like to talk about.
Well, you have been really open in this conversation here. We'll end this, and to the audience, be looking for this conversation on my YouTube channel at In the Moment 2025, and in that description, I will be putting up Robin's email address,
And PayPal.
So I'm going to be putting up details.
Yeah.
So if you want to help Robin out financially, just with a simple transfer, you can do that. So we'll make sure
I
that
accept
you're aware.
internet. I accept internet email transfer, and I also accept PayPal.
Okay. Yeah, we'll make sure that information is up on my YouTube channel. And actually, what I'll even do is I'll just include it in the extra of this. I'm glad that you made your way down to the waterfront.
Me too.
Okay. Thanks, Robin.
Merry Christmas, world. Thank you.
So if helping out Robin with a contribution is now on your holiday to-do list, those transfer details can be found on my YouTube channel at In the Moment 2025. Next Sunday, winter solstice, and we head to Kentville, Nova Scotia. I'll speak with a volunteer with their hands reaching out, not for attention, but for connection. Moving from tent to doorway, offering care packages filled with socks, food, and something harder to carry, dignity. No speeches, no cameras, just neighbors helping neighbors survive another day. In a town where winter doesn't wait, these small acts become lifelines, proof that even when systems fail, people still show up. Sounds like a Hallmark movie. I look forward to speaking with Jennifer Cameron on Wednesday. You can hear our chat next Sunday. In closing, if today's show made you feel mad, sad, worried, or concerned, good. Another story next Sunday here on Canada's #1 folk station, 99.9 FM Perth Andover, and folkedupradio.com.